Hi, Doug McDonald with you again. In this short video, the first of three, we're going to look at how to set up Procare for agency charges and payment processing. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll begin by going into the configuration and then system area. We'll need to look at regions and schools in a moment to assign our payment description and our charge description for transfers. Then we'll want to look at charge and credit descriptions, third-party agency names, and third-party adjustment codes finally. We're going to begin here today with third-party agency names by adding a new third-party agency name. Currently we have the county agency and state DSHS. To add a new one, I'm going to go ahead and click the new button at the bottom. This agency I'm going to make the Head Start agency. The rest of this information is optional. You can fill in the name and address for your contact and phone numbers and so on as needed here. I'll just go ahead and save it as the name Head Start. Once I've created that, I need to expose this to different regions depending on where we use this agency. If we expose it to all regions and all schools, that'll expose it to everything. Otherwise, I can set my individual schools right here. I'll go ahead and choose to do that. Save and exit. And now that it's been exposed, exit from there. The next section we want to look at is charge and credit descriptions. Under tuition charges, you'll notice that I've added some descriptions that actually specifically reference revenue for a subsidy rather than just standard tuition charges. This is optional, but it can be pointed to a different revenue number if you'd like to keep your subsidized revenue separate on our reports from your standard revenue. In the Other Charge tab, there's an important description here. This is transfer from agency, so it's charging to a private tuition source for transferring monies from agency sources to private sources. And under credit descriptions, we'll want to have a couple of different adjusting credits to reduce amounts owing on agency ledger cards. The agency adjustment would be to simply lower the amount, maybe write off an amount uncollectible from an agency that we're never going to try to collect from a private party. And we also need a credit to transfer the balance from the agency to the private payer. And that, again, is using a specific credit description for that function. And then the last thing we'll need to look at is a payment description for our checks that come in from agencies. So the current one we're using is payment by agency. You can create several here if you like that are payment by DSHS, payment by Head Start, and so on. If you'd like to be more granular about it, we're going to use just payment by agency. And that's what we need to set up there. Then we'll go to the regions and schools section. Here we'll expand our region so we can see each school. You'll set these options one school at a time. So I'm going to choose my school, 2, set options, and then within set options choose the family accounting information. In the family accounting information, this is the description for the payment that I showed you, the payment by agency. And then this is the other charge description I showed you for the parent transfer from agency. Once we've got those set, the last section we'll go to will be the third-party adjustment codes under family accounting. Here we'll set whether this adjustment code is a transfer or simply just a reduction on the amount owing on the agency ledger card. So for a transfer to the parent side, we're going to use an adjustment code linked to our credit description called transfer to private payer. And we're telling Procare by this check mark that this is indeed a transfer from the agency. The other two here are simply credits against an agency ledger card. So we have a specific one here for write-offs and then another one for a general miscellaneous credit. And that's all there is to setting up the configuration. We encourage you to go on to video 2 in agency accounting. Thanks very much for joining us today.